Hey, this is Jonathan, and in this video, I'm going to talk about a different approach to learning to play the piano. And the reason I came up with this approach is I noticed myself and a lot of others who took piano lessons really struggled being able to play any songs at all. And myself, I knew lots of friends growing up, we would take years and years of piano lessons, and when somebody said, oh, you take piano lessons, why don't you sit down and play something, we couldn't play anything. And part of that was definitely my fault because I didn't practice as much as I should have. But I think also there was a problem with the approach that we often take to learning the piano. As I've been thinking about how to teach somebody to play the piano, I think of how we learn to just speak a language in general. And like if you think about a baby learning to speak, a baby will first learn to say words. They'll make some sounds. Those sounds will eventually form into words, and then eventually they'll build sentences and on and on. But we start with them speaking. And then, after they can speak pretty well, we will then show them how to read those words. And so we start off by helping them learn to communicate first. Then we start teaching them about the rules of communication and how they can read words, and then we'll teach them about sentence structure and grammar and all that stuff. But when we think about how traditionally we learn to play the piano, we often focus on teaching people to read music first. Then they can play, or, to go along with the analogy, speak music. And as I was thinking about this, it's kind of backwards, the way this approach to learning the piano. Now, obviously it works because people use that approach and they turn into amazing pianists, concert pianists. But those are the individuals who are willing to put in a lot of time practicing. And I don't know if it's just inside they have this desire and they can just keep at it. But I really struggle with the approach of learning to read first and then play the song. And then something happened. So I guess going back a little bit more in my own history of piano, I took from a great piano teacher at first. I just didn't put in the hours of practicing, the flashcards and practicing all the notes. And the approach, again, was first you must learn to read the sheet music and know the notes and then plunk them out on the keyboard. That just didn't work for me. And then I took from a different teacher whose approach was before you can touch the piano, you need to learn music theory. And that was kind of scary to me at first because I didn't know what music theory was. But that piano teacher really pushed learning theory. And I still struggled to play music with while doing those lessons. And part of it, again, was because I just didn't practice. Once we learned the theory, we then moved to playing sheet music. But I just didn't, I didn't put in the hours that were necessary to translate what was on the sheet music through to my hands and where they should go on the keyboard. So after 2 piano teachers and many, many years of getting lessons, I still really couldn't play the piano. And then what happened was I was 21 years old, and a friend of mine sat down at his piano, and he just started playing some songs. I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could play the piano. And it wasn't like he was playing a crazy classical pieces. He was just playing modern hits. I think he was playing Lionel Richie's Hello. And he played another one from Romeo and Juliet. I was like, wow, this sounds really good. I didn't know you could play. And he said, oh, I don't really know how to read the sheet music, but I know the chords. And so I just play the chords. And I was like, you can do that? I thought you had to learn the sheet music and you could only play if you knew how to read that, the music. And he's like, man, just kind of play it. And it hit me. I know the chords because my second piano teacher really pushed music theory. So we learned the circle of fifths and the chords and the minors and the diminished and augmented and all that stuff. So I knew that. I just didn't realize that you could translate that into playing, just kind of like improvising. So after my friend told me that, and not really a secret, but to me it was like this revelation of, I know that stuff, maybe I could play it. So I sat down and just started playing the chords that I would see like in Ultimate Guitar, or if like a lot of sheet music, they'll have chords along the top. And I'll talk about that in just a moment here in this video. But I realized I know that's those chords, I can start playing. And I remember when I was 21, it was just a few months after this experience where my friend showed me this secret, this thing that I didn't know. I went to another friend's house. They had a grand piano. They had some music, and I opened it up, and I was just playing the chords along with the melody of the piece. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I was playing that, and the parent came over, and she's like, "Wow, that sounds really good." I just remember thinking it was so funny. It's like, I didn't even realize this was an approach you could do to playing the piano. I thought you had to be able to sight read. And actually, for a long time, it was like this secret, because even when the mom came over, I was like, I actually can't play the piano. Like, I'm just reading the chords and playing those. But I realized that that is playing the piano. So I may never be a concert pianist. I don't pretend that I'm going to get to that level. But for me, I just want to go down and play a fun song that I hear on the radio. Or for example, there's a show, This Is Us. And there was a really cool song that they played during one episode. I'm spacing on the name right now. I think it was Always Come Back to This. It's just kind of like this blues song. It's a story about a dad who was, I think, in Memphis. They play this really fun, cool song, brings everyone to tears. And I was like, I want to play that. So I go up to Ultimate Guitar on my phone. I put my phone up on the piano, and I can play that song. Not perfect, but I can play it and I can sing along with it, and that's fun. So again, I'm not going to be a concert pianist, and I'm not pretending that I'm going to teach you to be a concert pianist. What I want you to do is, if you've taken a couple years of piano and you still can't play very well, or if you haven't taken any piano at all, but you'd like to be able to play, not to go fill a concert hall, but just like you have a piano in your living room and you just want to be able to play some of your favorite songs. That's what this is. That's our goal here. And we're going to do that by not going on the traditional approach of you must learn the sheet music, you must drill until you can get that, and then you can play. What we're going to do is we're actually going to do it, focus the opposite. We're going to say, let's learn first to play the music, and then we're going to learn to read the music. But the focus and the emphasis is first on playing music, because if you can play some of your favorite songs, you're going to play more often. Like, there are times I've been playing now this approach that I've learned where you just kind of play the chords and improvise. I've been doing that for about 13 years now, or longer, 14 years now. And sometimes I will sit down and learn a piece by going through the sheet music and learning what the actual notes are, and I'll play it. So I did that with a song with Pride and Prejudice. Recently, I've done it with a Chopin piece. So there are some things that I will sit and learn the sheet music, and I'll play it exactly as it's written. But that is still, it can be a challenge for me. I believe that some people just have this gift of being able to sight read. Maybe it's the gift of just sitting down and practicing for hours and hours. I don't know. But I don't have the gift where I can open up any song and just play it. So for me, it takes a little bit of work. However, because I can play music, I can just sit down and play a song from using a different approach. I still am playing all the time, and that's still helping me improve. And I think about this like if someone's learning to play basketball, and they're only learning drills over and over and over again, and the only time they can actually play is game time, they're going to get bored pretty fast. So instead of always doing drills, they will frequently, if you're playing ball or soccer or whatever it is, you frequently just play around. You're just kind of messing around. You play one-on-one with somebody. If you don't do everything perfect, that's okay. You're just playing. Same with the piano. If you want to get better at the piano, you need to play. It's not always practice, but you just need to play. And so this approach is going to help you just play the piano. And the way we're going to do it, and in this series of videos, we're going to help you move in 3 phases. The first phase is we are going to be able to open up Ultimate Guitar on your phone or on the computer, and we are going to learn how to play those songs. And the reason we're going to do this is because this is the easiest, the fastest way to just start playing music, and because it's free, you don't have to go and buy all the sheet music, and because when we go through these exercises, you're going to be learning some music theory, and you're going to be learning stuff that's going to apply to being able to play sheet music. But I'll just show you here really quick. A lot of people just think, oh, it's Ultimate Guitar. How can you play the piano on it? The thing is this, and I'm opening up here to a song called Hallelujah. That's the first song we'll learn in this video series. This gives you everything you need to be able to play a song, play the song Hallelujah just like they do on the YouTube videos, or on the music videos. Even though this is focused on guitar and this shows you the guitar chords, this is all we need to be able to play the song on the piano. We're going to learn how to do that. That's the first thing we're going to focus on. And the cool thing is, like I said before, we can look up so many songs here. You hear something on the radio, or a song from a long time ago that you want to learn, like an Elvis Presley song or Johnny Cash. We can pull it up here in an Ultimate Guitar and get the chords, and we can just start playing on it. And we'll focus on that first. So the goal here is we're going to start with Ultimate Guitar because it's free, it's easy, and it's a great place to start learning these chords, which then will carry over to the next phase, which is learning how to play sheet music that have those chords at the top. So you'll notice here, this Away in a Manger, we've got this C chord right here, and G chord right here, and C and G and C. Well, when we go back into Ultimate Guitar, you'll notice we have a C chord here, and basically the same as a G chord. What's cool is that when you find sheet music that has those chords like that, you can play those songs as well. And what we're going to learn in the second phase is you're going to learn to play the right hand notes, and you'll play the chord in the left hand. And we'll talk about this. We'll get into much more detail here, but it's just kind of giving you a preview of how we're going to progress and what we're going to learn, and how it works. And in this case, and like as we go through this, it's not like you're going to be a dummy in music and only know chords and not be able to do anything. We're learning music theory. We're just learning it in a different approach. Instead of just saying you must first read music and then play music, we're going to learn it backwards. We're going to say we're going to play music first, and then we're going to show you what were you playing and how did that work? What was the theory behind that? And then you're going to be able to apply that to different types of music. You can even apply it to different instruments. But so we'll learn how to play the melody in the right hand. We'll read the sheet music, and then learn to play the chords in the left hand. And then that third phase is we're going to learn to play a full-on song with just the sheet music. And what we're going to show you is that sometimes they'll throw these chords up here because down here they're playing that C chord. It's just they're writing it out differently. In this case, they're just putting the letter C. In this case, they're telling you the notes to play that really are part of C. So that all of that is in here. You could go up here and you could write in chords, which is actually what we're going to do later on. But this is the progression. First, we're going to just start off by reading chords. We're going to move it into how do you play some sheet music that's got chords written up top, and then how do we move it into just playing sheet music. And the nice thing is, if you decide to stop anywhere along this progression, if you just want to go through the first phase of videos and learn the Ultimate Guitar approach of just taking the chords and playing those chords on the piano, then hey, you can stop there and you'll be able to play some fun songs and you'll sound great and you'll be able to sing along, and it's fun. So you could even stop there and still have a really fun time on the piano and still be able to play the piano. You may not know all the sheet music and how to read music, but you'll be able to play. If you decide to stop in the second phase, hey, you'll be able to play some really cool songs and some really cool arrangements that you make up yourself because you've learned how to read the right hand and you can play these chords in the left. So even if you don't make it through all three phases, you stop anywhere along the way, you're still going to be able to play some really great things on the piano and have fun. So all of that to say, that's why we're focusing on playing first, and then we're going to learn to read the sheet music.